to work closely with the Shadow Minister for Health, Jillian Skinner, to ensure that our future health system is one that addresses the needs of the local community and one that will ensure tragedies like that described in Therese's book will never happen again. So with great pleasure I welcome you.
Good morning everyone, or really good afternoon, and it's great to see you all this morning, Therese and Michelle, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you afterwards. Look, on behalf of Therese, Alison and Melissa, I'm very privileged to be a part of this story and the launching of it today. It is a narrative of a very untimely death of their loving husband and their father, Don Picard. Without Due Care is a very moving and poignant account of the distressing and disturbing events that led to his death on the 17th of May 2007. It is just one chapter, this book, not a literally one chapter, but one chapter in Therese's attempt to gain answers, to find the truth and to pursue justice from a health system that clearly played a significant role in this tragedy. Throughout the book, Therese refers to the systemic failure of the New South Wales public health system, a health system that has been neglected from 15 years of a Labor government. 2,500 hospital beds are closed, an increase of 51% in our hospital waiting lists, long waits in emergency departments, lengthy ambulance response times, and continuing cuts to frontline staff. As a local nurse, I want to make a comment on this very last point. Therese recalls numerous occasions throughout the book when nursing staff did not perform as would be expected of them in their profession. This is unacceptable. But I believe, and I have discussed this with Therese before, that this is actually just another consequence of a deficient and a deteriorating health system in this state. When a nurse is up to her 16th hour of a double shift, and believe me, that happens far too often in all of our hospitals, she or he cannot possibly perform their best. And when staff are overloaded with tasks because there is insufficient staffing allocated to a particular shift, or the skill mix is inappropriate, when aligned with the acuity of the patient, they cannot carry out their duties to the optimum. And despite these shortcomings, we continue to hear of more staff cuts at local hospitals. Just this week, we learned that a further 62 full-time positions will be cut in our own area health service. This is on top of the 400 positions that have been previously cut. To slash more jobs from hospitals that are overstretched is nothing short of negligence, in my view, and will directly impact on frontline services and delivery of patient care. Of course, none of this actually condones what happened to Don and Therese and to their families, and particularly during the admission of Sydney Hospital. But it simply highlights that such tragedies will undoubtedly occur again because the systemic flaws in our health system are simply not being addressed. There are particular struggles when, like Therese, you are the carer and sometimes the only advocate for that patient, someone you love more than anyone else can imagine. My own personal experience in this position unfortunately gives me a real understanding of the ongoing frustrations felt by Therese and her daughters day after day that this tragic ordeal panned out. My brother, who has cerebral palsy and severe intellectual and physical disabilities, was hospitalised twice in the last 12 months. I remember my mum ringing me from the emergency department of a major Adelaide hospital to tell me that they'd just arrived by ambulance and they were waiting to be seen. She assured me she was okay and things were okay. She was coping. The next morning at 6 a.m, I telephoned her, only to realise that I needed to be on the next plane to Adelaide. My brother is 46, requires 24/7 care, and in an unfamiliar setting such as a hospital emergency department, where his movements are restricted, I knew he would need to be supervised every minute to ensure his safety and his well-being. My mother is 74, thankfully a very fit 74. Throughout that night, as they waited patiently for a ward bed, my mother was not offered a chair or even a cup of coffee by the nursing staff. In fact, she slept the night on the hard floor, so she could be right beside my brother, she said, when he needed her. As a nurse, I simply couldn't comprehend how this could happen. How not one person had thought as they walked past them, time and time again, that they may need at least something to eat or drink, a pillow, or maybe even just a break. And like Therese, I met so many wonderful nurses during my stay in the hospital with Philip, where I spent night after night by his side. So many who went above and beyond, but sadly their exceptional efforts were tarnished by those who simply didn't understand the needs of the carers and the patients. I urge each and every one of you to take the time to read Therese's account of the events leading to Don's death. I forewarn you, however, it is confronting, it is distressing, but sadly it is real. I want to share with you a short paragraph with Therese's permission from chapter 9 of the book, which I think reflects the enormous heartache that Therese and her family underwent and continue to experience every day as they reflect what happened. And here we go. My lovely gentleman is well on the way to respiratory arrest and consequent death 5 horrible weeks later, leaving us all. This man has suffered unbelievable pain and indignity over the past 25 years, but it was nothing compared to the horror that was about to be unleashed on him. And because we love him, on us too, I will never recover from what I know and what I saw in the weeks that followed. What Don had to go through before death makes me feel physically ill, and sometimes I find myself gagging as the pictures play again and again in my mind. I have to say, I am glad I don't know what was done to him when I wasn't there, because I think I would have lost my mind if there had been anything worse. This book is my way of freeing myself and our family, and thus freeing Don. I am hoping to get justice for my husband. We daily relive a horror which was preventable, and which arose from ignorance, arrogance, and a fundamental lack of care. Therese gave me a copy of her book many, many months ago, in its unedited version, pages and pages of thoughts and recollections. When she dropped by the other day and presented me with this final copy, I was simply overwhelmed. It is beautifully presented, chronicled, and many photographs of Don and his family reflecting his life will bring tears to your eyes. Thank you again, Therese, for allowing me to be a part of this very special day. And in closing, I wish you and your beautiful daughter the happiness you so really deserve.